Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think, Admiral, I might have shared with you that in a former life, I was head of state personnel for the state of Delaware. And so, again, the focus on jobs, I was Secretary of Labor as well, and the focus of making sure that the workforce is well-equipped, well-trained, and that you can recruit has always been sort of a top mind for me, because you can't do your mission if you don't have the people, and you can't do the mission well if the people aren't, if you have a good culture and people feel that they're in a good place. And I know with Force Design 2028, it called for the expansion of the Coast Guard by 15,000 active duty personnel, which is over 1/3 increase of the number of active service members. Am I correct on that?
That's correct, Ranking Member Blunt Rochester.
Yes, and I know that there was a GAO report last year that indicated that you were about 2,600 personnel short. Do you recall that report?
I do, yes.
Was it accurate?
It was close, but we're moving in the right direction, so the numbers are changing in a positive way since that report. Which
is a huge direction, because I saw in your testimony you indicated you hired 6,000 folks. Did I read that correctly?
Last year, we finished with over 5,200, so near 6,000, and we're on track to reach 6,000 already this year.
Okay, so would you say you're at full strength for what you're trying to do now?
Well, we're almost back to restoring that deficit, that 10% shortage in our enlisted workforce. I think by the end of the summer or early fall, we'll have been out of that and well positioned to keep growing the force toward that 15,000 number.
Can you talk a little bit about what you did to be so successful in that recruitment? Were there specific things that you did differently? Were there things that you said, we're not going to do that anymore? Can you talk a little bit about how you have been able to so far make this kind of progress in a year?
Thank you for the question, because it really highlights the importance of our recruiting effort. And I think we're going to need the level of effort that we've put into recruiting going forward. We're never going to go back to a situation where we can just expect people know and want to join the Coast Guard. We've got to tell our story better. And so we invested in the people and the talent and the expertise and technology to be able to recruit, reach all parts of the United States, attract the best young men and women who have a propensity to serve and want to serve their country, and then recruit them into the country. And that's involved opening more recruiting offices, including in places we didn't have them or haven't had them for a long time, like the Midwest. And then using technology to be able to reach young people where they operate, where they live, where they consume information, rather than the traditional methods that I was used to recruit me a long time ago.
And you know, when I saw the number 15,000, that's significant. And I was thinking, do you think you'll be able to sustain that pace of you hired nearly 6,000? Do you think you will be able to sustain that pace? And what do you think it will take to do that?
Well, it's really important, Ranking Member, because it's not only on the recruiting side. We need to have that training capacity in our system. First at Training Center Cape May, where there's a significant investment to improve and expand our capability there, but also in our follow-on training for our force. And so that's one of the key parts, is expanding that training capacity. And the ability to develop our people, that becomes critical. But it's driven by an increase in our operating funding. Just to give one quick example, the 11 Arctic security cutters that we're building at the President's direction, that will require 1,300 new Coast Guard people that don't exist today to be able to operate those.
Wow. Wow. And so, therefore, again, the investment in training is so important, because that doesn't exist today. Can you also talk about, you know, I know there are plans to build over a dozen new vessels with this funding that you received. How long does it take to build a ship like a polar ice cutter?
Well, Ranking Member, what we've done is taken a new approach that is enabling us to move at speed and scale in a way we haven't before. First, the budget reconciliation gave relief from Chapter 11 and Title 14 for the pre-acquisition activities. Originally thought it was a way to reduce risk, it actually slowed us down by bogging us down with a lot of work that had happened before we could move ahead with an acquisition. We've also gotten rid of these long hundreds of pages of boutique requirements, and we've leaned more on the commercial industry with more basic requirements so they can move faster with the funding in hand. And so we are going to be delivering these assets much faster than we have in the past.
I guess one question, and I know I am now over my time, and I don't know if we're going to have a second round. Yeah. Okay, well then I will yield here and come back for a second round. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.